All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to Call the Cops. Another big show, always a big show in store. We got a couple of folks from Sportsmen's Tennis Club in the house. Sportsman Tennis Club in the house. And David, if you could, feel free, please, to throw the full screen up. But this is a pretty amazing organization. And for the last 50 years, they've done a ton of good stuff. Like, I can't even stress it enough. Take a look at your screen there. One of tonight's guests, Frank Williams, in the middle, in the house. We got Tony Wiley here. And here's what they were saying about Sportsmen's over the summer. We cut up to Frank and Tony, and here's what they had to say.
Our objective is to have, not necessarily to raise pros, but to make good human beings. I mean, these kids aren't bad. It's just they see so much. And because they see so much, they react to it. Now we give them tennis, they can react to tennis. Everything is contained, and they can have a great time.
Oftentimes, kids have the impression that the police are the enemy. So this is a way for them to form relationships with the police, to change that perception, for them to realize that the police really do want what's best for them, and that they should see them as a source of help and not as a threat or an outsider to the community.
All right, obviously two very eloquent people here tonight in studio. Sportsman Tennis Club, 50 years young. We're going to talk about it in a couple of minutes. All right, real quick, High Bar Cowboys went to the Super Bowl. They're in Florida as we speak. They won their first game. They lost their second. They lost today. So Super Bowl championship likely not in the cards, but congratulations to these kids. Again, we had their coaches on last week. Elvis Garcia in the house. Congratulations to these guys for a great season. I believe they have one more game to go, but we'll have the update next week. All right, Citizens Police Academy. It's a great program, folks. Essentially, opportunity for your average citizen and members of the police department to come together. In this case, this is Superintendent Rafael Ruiz talking to this year's class of graduates. Citizens Police Academy class graduated 24 folks a couple days ago, and from what I understand, it was a wonderful opportunity for your average citizen to learn about what police officers do, how they do it, and learn about really one of the toughest jobs you're going to find. So it's a great program. Congratulations to the 24 folks who just recently went through it. Talk about big drug bust. There was a big, as in huge, drug bust a couple of weeks ago. This is the scene at the U.S. Attorney's Office. Commissioner Davis on hand talking about an arrest, actually 20 arrests made, Greenwood Street in Dorchester. Not only did they make 20 arrests, but they seized 3 homes and 14 cars. Said Commissioner Davis at the press conference, to those who think it's okay to do drugs and resort to violence in the city of Boston, let the word go out. Don't do it. We will find you, we'll catch you, and we'll put you away. So, as you can well imagine, some pretty strong talk by the commission, but a great drug bust nonetheless. Cops for Kids with Cancer. I got to say it. One of my favorite organizations of all time. Cops coming together to help out families, kids with cancer. They do so much good work. This is the latest example. This is District E13 in Jamaica Plain. Former Chief Robert Faherty dropping by and delivering a check to a family with a young child, Willem, as you can see. He's a cancer patient. They delivered a check for $5,000. And, $5,000 can mean a lot. And we cut up to the chief after or during
Cops for Kids with Cancer is an organization of retired police officers, active police officers, friends of law enforcement. And the main thing is that everyone's a volunteer and no one gets a salary. And what we do is we raise money in different ways to take care of families that have a child with cancer and having some financial difficulties, and we help them along the way.
Willem is 14 months. He was diagnosed on tax day, of all days. And so he was diagnosed with ALL, acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Okay. But he's doing very well.
So that makes you count your blessings. Again, great work being done by the folks, the Cops for Kids with Cancer. Norman Knight, who is Norman Knight? Well, I'll tell you right now, the media room at Boston Police Headquarters is named after Norman Knight. He's the founder of the 100 Club. And let me just say, for the past 50 years, Norman Knight and the 100 Club have been there for families who've lost, families of law enforcement families, I should say, who've lost a loved one in the line of duty. Norman Knight, time and time again, has shown up with tickets to a ball game or monies for school tuition. Appropriately, a well-deserved honor, to say the least. the media room at Boston Police Headquarters, named after Norman Knight. And we caught up to Norman the day of the ceremony, and here's what he had to say about making a difference.
Everything we do in philanthropy is dependent upon our ability to attract many people to it. It's never one of us, it's never two of us, it's always all of us. We need to reinvigorate the spirit of philanthropy in our children and our grandchildren, because it's really what makes America different. America is the most generous nation on earth, and I think the members of the 100 Club and our directors are the most generous people on earth, next to the law officers and firefighters that risk their lives every day.
Well stated, Mr. Norman Knight. All right. The longest serving police officer, I know Frank knew this, I don't know if Tony knew this. The longest serving officer in the city of Boston is honored, Tony, with the badge number, with the badge that bears #1 on it. What's your badge number, Frank?
4269.
Mine's 2956. We're far away from #1. Mike Broderick, on the other hand, as you can see here, ceremony at police headquarters about a month ago. 40 years of service plus for Officer Mike Broderick, and fittingly, he now wears the badge with #1 on it, so he's our new #1. It's a nice tribute. It's a really nice custom to the department, and so congratulations. If you see Officer Mike Broderick, feel free to say something nice to him. Who's this guy saying, come on now, bring it together. When I talk, you listen. Yeah, this is Officer Frank Williams. We had Frank on the show about 2 months ago, and doing some great work at the Sportsmen's Tennis Club. Volleys
against violence.
Volleys against violence. And we got Tony Wiley in the house. Frank is here. Sportsman Tennis Club, folks, if you didn't know it, has turned?
We'll turn 50 next year.
We'll turn 50. January 7th. In that time, they've helped thousands of kids. I mean, talk about a legacy of just doing some good. The website tells me you've helped upwards of 40,000 kids.
That's right.
And look at these smiling faces. You guys are doing something right.
Very true.
Unless Frank's saying, smile, or else you get no pizza. Without any further ado, there's the man. Let's check out look at the form of this guy. Hey, not bad, man, not bad. Without any further ado, David, if we could introduce tonight's guest, Tony Wiley, Executive Director,
Thank you
Sportsman
for having
Tennis
me
Club.
Here. Thank you.
Frank, I can't reach you. We know who you are.
Jamie, good to see you.
Before Dave, if we can, that full screen with the information, they're having a 50-year anniversary, a 50-year gala, if you will. We're going to bring it up on the screen, guys. I'm just going to read it to you, and feel free to chime in. But Sportsman's Tennis Club, 50 years of excellence. They refer to this, I guess, as the Golden
Anniversary.
Golden Anniversary, right. 50 years, my God. January 7th, 2010, of course. Christina's Function Hall or Room, yeah. Foxborough, Massachusetts. There's the website at the end of the bottom of your screen. Please take a second to jot that down, because if you need more information about this, which is going to be, I can imagine, a fun event. Great time. Great time. Mm-hmm. Sportsman's Tennis Club, www.sportsmanstennisclub.org. Let's see these smiling faces out here in the studio. 50 years.
50 years.
I told you earlier I was a member of Sportsman's way back in the day when I was 10.
Right.
People know about Sportsman's Tennis Club. You guys have been doing some phenomenal work for a long time. Can you believe it's 50 years?
Well, I can, because whenever I'm in a large group and I stand up and say I'm here from Sportsman's Tennis Club, somebody will either raise their hand or they'll come up to me afterwards and they'll say, when I was a kid I took lessons there, or my children did, or my grandchildren did.
It's unbelievable. People don't just bow down when you say that?
No.
My God, Sportsman's Tennis Club. 50 years, some great work going on. Frank, we've talked about the stuff you're doing with the volleys against violence, but 50 years, this organization is going strong. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my kids came through the program also. My daughter's at Tufts University. My son opted to go to plumbing school, but they came through the program, had a great time. I play, they play, and I realized that...
You teach, you don't just play, buddy.
I teach when they allow me to. But yeah, it's a good program. I mean, the facility is phenomenal. It's second to none. The kids that come, they come there. When we take the kids from the inner city and bring them there, they think it's a field trip because it's so different. It's like being at the Burr Center at Harvard. If you've ever been there, it's like, oh my God.
Well, it's like walking into, I mean, I think anytime you walk into an athletic venue for the first time, I know as a kid, Fenway Park, the Boston Garden, Sportsman's when I was 10, it's something new and different. There's an energy there.
That's very true.
You've been around for 50 years, not by accident.
No, not at all.
What are you guys doing so well?
What we're doing is we are evolving as the community evolves. The reality is there are some things that change, some things that stay the same. What stays the same is the kids need to be active, they need to exercise, they need to find a place where people believe in them and are willing to let them be kids and at the same time give them some guidance and some structure. At the same time, community needs have changed because when we were in school and we had gym, we experienced a little bit of everything, right? Whether you wanted to or not, you played soccer, you climbed the ropes, you did everything. Now there are a lot of schools that don't have gym at all.
That's a shame.
So as a result, kids are not being exposed to a variety of sports. So if they don't find their way to someplace like Sportsmen's, they may go to be a grown-up without ever having touched a tennis racket.
Wow.
And it's like never having tasted anything. You assume you don't like it because you've never tasted it. So what we want to do is get kids to come in and see that you can learn this very easily. You don't have to be the fastest person on earth. You don't have to be the tallest or the thinnest or be able to jump the highest. You have to be willing to listen to a little bit of guidance and then believe in yourself and just give it a try.
See, that was my problem. I had no confidence and I was unwilling to listen, but that's another story for another day. Buddy, what do they get? I mean, we've discussed it before, and I don't want to, but if I'm a kid and I'm kind of like, tennis, what are you saying to me as a kid who's thinking about playing tennis at Sportsmen?
If you're a kid, we bring you in, the first thing we're going to do is put you on the court. We're going to give you a racket, we're going to do a little bit of warm-up stuff, and then I'm going to have you hitting balls. You know, every kid wants to swing at something. Right. No matter what.
That's right.
Here's an opportunity. Here's a ball, and here's a stick with a face this big.
If you pitch it in, I'm trying to knock it out.
And they have the opportunity because the place is so big, no one's going to get hurt. They can hit that ball as hard as they want to. And after they start hitting it hard, we teach them to place it in the court. It becomes a matter of technique, backhand, forehand, volley, serve. And 1, 2, 3 times they're there, they're actually playing tennis. You know, after the second time of being there, they're actually hitting the ball back and forth. We have this new USTA Quick Start program that we offer at the program also, which we're gearing towards kids from 5 years old, they're probably 5 to 12, 5 to 15, under 10, yeah. And they're doing the Quick Start. They're using smaller balls, different size rackets, and they're playing. They're literally playing.
How important is that? Smaller rackets, smaller ball kind of thing. Is that helping the development? Because I know, like, as a kid playing basketball, you get a basketball and you're like, you can't even, you can barely get up to the rim. But as time's gone on, you see smaller basketballs, and I imagine the same theory applies to the tennis rackets and balls.
You don't want to get discouraged. You don't want to try it out and find, well, I can't do this, so I'm going to give up. And what you learn in the process is that whatever it is that you're trying to learn, you have to start somewhere, and that you get a little bit better every day. So what we're trying to teach on the courts, we want them to bring into the classroom. We want them to bring it into their lives. And starting off with the Quick Start is a way of saying this is how you break down a big problem into something that's your size.